Skorek complied and brought him a piece. And my professor looked at it and said, "Are you kidding me? That's embarrassing. I can't play. It's too easy. Go home and redo it." And Skorek told me himself he really got angry. And he said, "I'll show you what is easy and what's difficult." So he went home and at the end of the piece, he wrote the main melody in fingered octaves in the 42nd position of violin. So it's very high, and fingered octaves means you have to play very fast and with 1, 3, and 4 fingers, which is for small hands really difficult. And these octaves became like a bad hair day. Today they're great, tomorrow you never know. So Spanish Dance by Skorek.
goodness, that was awesome. Let's give him another round of applause. One of the benefits of having two university professors play music for you is you get an entire history lesson along with each piece. So thank you again very, very much. All right, I'd like to introduce Nick and Slava. I'm not sure they need an introduction.
I'd like to extend some thank yous, and I'll let my mom go first. Ladies first.
Nick wanted me to say a few words about our heritage. This is my writing. He wanted me to give you a little history. First of all, every morning I thank God. In my prayer life, in the morning I thank God every single day that my parents made this momentous decision to come to America. My father knew ahead of the Second World War that trouble was brewing. He was 11 years older than my mom. Mom was just out of, like, maybe 19. And he was older, and he wanted to marry this wonderful, beautiful woman, but he had a dream. He had a dream of leaving Ukraine and coming to America. Not knowing the language, very little money, and in those days you had to have a sponsor, which my dad was able to get because someone from the village had gone ahead to New York, and so he'd be able to make that connection to get a sponsor. He had to convince my mother. Even after they got to America, she cried. She told me this. She cried for like a month and wanted to go back home. And he said he would get her a one-way ticket. And in those days, the wife did not disobey her husband and didn't make a move like that. And thanks be to God, my mom remained and had a wonderful life and loved it here. But it was hard, giving up everything, coming to this strange land. And my father went into the grocery store business. As soon as he arrived here, opened up a small store in New York, Manhattan. My sister was born. 6 years after they came, I was born after my sister. She was born a year later after they came, and I was born 5 years after that. And lived there in New York. And then my dad transferred to Detroit because my mother's sister had moved to Canada and was eventually going to move from the plains of Regina's area, Saskatchewan, to the Windsor area. And if my parents moved to Detroit, you see, they would be close to one another. So that's what happened. That's what we did. And I used to spend my summers on my uncle's farm in Canada. And my mother and my sister, her sister, were able to be pretty close. And well, I guess the whole crux of what I want to say is that truly I thank God that they came, because especially today and what's going on in Ukraine, I could have just as easily have them there, you know. And here I am, and we can give such help. We are so blessed. We take so much for granted here in America. And I'm real aware of it. I belong to a close-knit Christian community, a covenant community, and even there I'm aware sometimes of it's when you guys don't really understand what it is, what a blessing you have here. We are so blessed. So that is my word to you. You thank God every day that you live here in this great country. I never forget my heritage. I love all things Ukrainian, but I do thank God that I am American.
Thank you everyone for coming this evening or afternoon. Slava Ukraini. Got some thank yous. There's so much to be thankful for. First of all, I'm thankful that my dearest friend, Therese, comes to these shows and is such a great support. And I thank God that Vera comes up all the way from Detroit. And I thank God that we have good weather today. Wouldn't blame you at all if you didn't come, if people come, and also the UCARE, Ukrainian Children's Aid Relief Network. And you can give to that anytime by way of the internet. And then if you want to do that, it's on the flyers. We have extra brochures and program rather. That address is on there. UCARE, all one word, UCARE Inc. Thank you for your contribution, and we've made a good amount on that first show with Larry McRae Band, and then with the fine young people that played the jazz music, we did well. Today's more of an awareness raiser, but my goodness, the level of musicianship we've been blessed to have. Thank you, God. Thank you everyone for helping us. I want to thank our planning team, especially my dear mom, Dr. Linda Lee Tarver, Jim Karshner, Mike Hammond, and then also Mike Williams, who also is doubling as photographer today. I'm thankful for the incredible effort and equally talent of Mike Hammond. I'd like us all to give a hand to this man who spends tireless hours helping us with fine production of tickets and pamphlets and anything printed. He designs it, he creates it, produces it, and gets it done. We love you, Mike, and we thank you for that, all you do. I want to thank a very special family we have in the house. As my mom mentioned, by God's grace, we arrived here to America. Her parents came, my dad's parents too. Well, we have from us today some Ukrainians. We're so thankful to have not only Professor Arthur and Professor Solomia, but to have the Queen in the house, Yuba, Vitayu, i my вітаємо вас, and their niece. Я не знаю її звати, але дуже вітаю. Aurora, так. Дуже радий. One of the things I read about in Professor Solomia's bio, if I have it right, your grandfather was shipped to Siberia where he died? In prison, in a Soviet camp. Моя мама також її дідо. І не знає, де він, where his. Так. Вічна пам'ять to them. Likewise, my mom's grandfather was treated that way by the Soviets, Russians. Not, let me just say Soviets, not all the Russians, certainly not. I'm thankful to have Professor Tarabara from the MSU here. He and his wife, Tatiana, are from Dnipro. When I saw that news yesterday, ballistic missiles into an apartment building, 15-year-old girl. I heard a little bit story about the girl in the bathroom. I watched a lot of that footage of those firefighters. My best friend, she's the daughter of a firefighter. I don't care what country they're in, but I got so much respect for them. I'm running out of a building and they are going into that rubble. Hats off to the firefighters in Ukraine too. I'd like to thank Alex and Chelsea. Alexei from Poltava, Chelsea, do a great job helping. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to talk a little bit about next events. We're going to have our annual Black History Month celebration. It's about our 10th one. It's save the date, February 19th, right here. Sunday, February 19th. We're going to have some awesome reggae and blues. 2 shows, one for the ambulance drive. There's a local organizations. He can't be here today, but we're going to be working with them. They're the Rotary Club, and they've gotten 3 refurbished, now 4 ambulances to Ukraine. Where in the evening, of course, we're going to turn our attention solely on the children and the orphans. More on that. Poor Mike, he knows, but we're actually giving him a break on that the fire duty and all that. Yeah, come on. And then the other thing we would love to do, you got some homework. I'm going to assign some homework to the professors. We would love to have a screening of the movie, The Guide, which features, at the time, their son. Pravda?
He was the guy.
Talk. And we'll work that out to use this beautiful screen and such and have a movie about, and you know, y'all know that I mean, it's not as if I don't like music. No, I like music. And I love musicians, so I really take offense when they murder the musicians. Right, and I know the story, and it just, you really? Musicians? Flying musicians. So, and his name is Anton, and I hear a lot of good things about his jazz group. So we would love to have Anton perform one night, and we just had some local students perform jazz on, so your homework assignment, I've never been able to assign it to teachers, is to give a good word for us. Please give a good word to Anton, and we would love to have him up here. Thank you. And without anything else, I definitely want to thank our master of ceremonies and his wife and their family, all their family, the oldest to the youngest, but especially Charlie and Misha. So thank you, Josh. We did a show for the hospice, Mother Teresa House once. He did a fantastic job then. You did another fantastic job. Thank you. He's been to Ukraine and especially Russia a countless number of times on business. And then I would like to close with Angela. She is one of the most pro-Ukraine women I know. She already 2014, maybe 2015, but I think it was 2014 right off the bat. She brought a dozen to 20 young people out of the war zone, Ukrainian, from the east, and we heard something today about their ending up in the west, and some of their dearest, kind of like kids now, have made it safely to the west. Relative safety now, you know that Russia's just sending those Scud missiles or whatever they call them anywhere, all throughout. So, that being said, positive energy. Thank you for it. Thank you for that, for all you did and that you continue to do. Thank you, Nunez family. We love you. We love all of you. On behalf of the planning team, thank you for coming to another event. And that's it. And then if you if you wouldn't mind, I'm gonna get a crude sheet of paper, and if you want to be in touch with us by email, you can write your email, and we'll be sure to keep you informed of the meetings, of the concerts, because we want to have a concert series. Without anything else, but thank you, everyone.
I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, especially Dr. Linda Lee, and everyone drive safely, and thank you again for coming.